My husband made me work 2 jobs. He said, "You don't deserve to be tired if you didn't earn anything." He said to our daughter, "Mommy is never home." While I worked hard, he took his best girlfriend on a trip. Then he came home, pale and begging me. So, me and Zoltan, we met like 8 years back in the most random way. Picture this, we're both stuck in this dinky little diner cause of that crazy flood back in 16. Roads were shut down, no cell service, nada. We ended up playing cards with these old timers for, like, 6 freaking hours. But Zoltan, man, he had me cracking up when I should have been totally stressed. We swapped Instagrams when the signal came back, started dating a month later, and tied the knot after 2 years. Now, our daughter, Tenori, she's 6 and seriously the best thing ever. She's a tiny ball of energy, always dancing, twirling, bouncing off the furniture, even though I'm always telling her to chill. A couple months back, she comes home from school, yapping non-stop about how her friend Baiz is in dance class, and they get to wear real ballet shoes, and could she, please take classes too? I thought it was a cool idea. Tenori's got so much energy to burn, and I figured dance would be perfect. But when I brought it up to Zoltan that night, he acted all weird. He looks up from his phone and just laughs, not a nice laugh, but this snarky, dismissive snort that instantly put me on guard. He said we couldn't afford fancy stuff like dance classes on his salary alone, and if I wanted Tenori doing expensive things, maybe I should chip in more. That totally threw me for a loop. I went part-time after Tenori was born, which we both agreed on, and we weren't exactly hurting for cash, as far as I knew. We got a simple house, 2 older cars that are paid off, and sure, we're not taking fancy vacations, but I didn't think we were so broke that $60 a month for dance was out of the question. So, I told him that, and Zoltan whips out his phone, opens our bank app, and shows me how little's left after bills each month. The numbers looked fishy, but I couldn't put my finger on why. He's always handled the money cause he's good with numbers, so I caved and said I'd get a second job. Found a night shift gig at this diner near our place. The schedule was killer, my regular job during the day, then slinging fries 4 nights a week. I'd come home dead tired. Feet throbbing. Smelling like grease. When I mentioned how tired I was, Zoltan said I was being dramatic. He actually said, and I'll never forget this, that I didn't deserve to be tired since I barely helped out financially. I bit my tongue cause, hey, this was for Tenori's dance classes. But get this, 3 months into my second job, Tenori still wasn't signed up for any dance classes. Every time I brought it up, Zoltan had some excuse. The good studio was booked. We should wait till the next session. We needed to save more first. Meanwhile, I started noticing weird stuff. Like Tenori talking about going to the zoo with Zoltan on my work nights, or coming home with new toys I didn't buy, or mentioning this Viola person who was apparently Daddy's friend. I casually asked Zoltan about Viola, and he said she was just a coworker going through a divorce and sometimes hung out with them cause she was lonely. Said she was good with kids and it gave him someone to talk to when I was working. Sounded legit, I guess. Then, Tenori starts saying strange stuff, like how Viola takes better pictures than mommy, or asking if Viola can come to my birthday. And here's the kicker, she starts calling me Merera sometimes instead of mommy. I asked her about it, and she just shrugged and said Viola calls you Maya. So I thought that was your name too. Major red flags went up. I checked Zoltan's Instagram, found nothing. Checked his Facebook. Same thing. When I tried bringing her up again, he got all huffy and said I was being paranoid and his friendships weren't up for discussion. Things really hit the fan a few months ago. I came home early one night cause the diner was dead. The house was empty, Zoltan's car was gone, and he wasn't answering his phone. He finally texts back, saying they were grabbing ice cream and would be home soon. When they show up an hour later, Tenori's wearing a brand new outfit I'd never seen and going on and on about the cartoon movie they just saw, not ice cream, a movie. And the way she talked, it was clear Viola was there too. After Tenori went to bed, I cornered Zoltan, asked why he lied about where they were. Asked why Tenori had new clothes when we were supposedly broke, asked who the heck this Viola person was to our family. He gives me this stone cold look I've never seen before and says, maybe if you were more fun, she'd still call you mommy. I just stood there, stunned, angry, hurt, but I didn't say anything. Just nodded and walked away, cause what do you even say to that? That was 5 months ago, and since then I've been paying close attention, working and watching, and the pattern's clear as day. Zoltan has work dinners that always happen on my nights off. Tenori mentions staying at Viola's house when I have overnight shifts. There are charges on our credit card for restaurants and movies on nights Zoltan told me he was working late. Zoltan's got new clothes, a fancy smartwatch, but we still can't afford Tenori's dance classes. Last week, I was helping Tenori clean her room and found a stash of photos tucked away in her dresser, pictures of her, Zoltan, and this woman I'd never seen at an amusement park, a water park, what looked like a Christmas party. The photos had dates on the back. This has been going on for over a year, even before I got the second job. The woman Viola, I'm guessing is pretty in that Instagram influencer way. Blonde, perfect teeth, the kind of casual expensive clothes that look effortless but probably cost a week of my diner wages. In one photo, Tenori's wearing a dance outfit, a real one with a tutu and everything. The date said over a year ago. So, he took her to classes back then and stopped. She never told me, and I never knew until Bezo brought it up again. So, he told me we couldn't afford dance classes. Made me get a second job. All while he was taking our daughter to dance classes with another woman and blowing cash like crazy. Yesterday, Tenori asks me if Viola's gonna be her new mommy someday, just like that, over breakfast between bites of cereal. I almost dropped my coffee. I asked her what made her think that. She shrugs and says 'cause Daddy and Viola are special friends, and she sleeps in Daddy's room when I stay at her house. I don't even know what to do with that. I haven't confronted Zoltan yet 'cause I gotta be smart about this. I can't just blow up and make things worse for Tenori. So, here's the plan. I'm requesting copies of all our bank statements for the past year. I'm switching my diner shifts to match Tenori's schedule better. I'm saving every photo, every scrap of proof I can find. I've got an appointment with a lawyer next week. I'm done being played. Done working myself to death while my husband builds a new life with another woman. Done watching my daughter drift away from me. I feel like I'm living in some crazy movie where everything I thought was real was a lie. Update 1. So, remember how I was gonna get those financial records? Well, I went one better. Zoltan's always been in charge of the money, saying I'm not good with it. His words, not mine, okay? Duh. We got a joint account, but he set up the online banking years ago, and I realized I didn't even have the login info anymore. The password I thought we used didn't work. Instead of asking him and tipping him off, I went straight to the bank last Wednesday on my lunch break. The teller gave me a look at first when I said I needed statements but didn't have online access to my own account, but when I showed her my ID and said I was a joint account holder who just needed to see our family's finances, she was super helpful. What I found made me want to hurl right there in the bank. For the past year and a half, Zoltan's been transferring money regular amounts, like $300 to $500 to a secret account I didn't know about. Like clockwork, on the first of every month, plus random extra transfers, sometimes small, sometimes bigger, lining up with those work trips he'd take. It adds up to over $20,000 in the past year. $20,000. And here I am working my butt off at the diner for months 'cause we supposedly couldn't afford $60 a month for dance classes. That's less than what he sends to this mystery account in a single day sometimes. But hold up, it gets wilder. The statements showed charges at places I didn't know, fancy restaurants that cost more than what we ever spend as a family, hotels in cities nearby, a jewelry store purchase for over $1,000 at Christmas when he got me a $20 scarf from Target, which I was thankful for back then, 'cause we were supposedly broke. After the bank, I went home and did something I never did before. I snooped through Zoltan's desk drawers while he was at work. I felt like a criminal in my own house, hands shaking as I went through his papers, but what I found was worse than I thought. A credit card statement in Zoltan's name only showed plane tickets to Florida from 3 months ago, when he told me he was at a training thing. 2 tickets, one for him, one for Viola Aldridge. I took pics of everything with my phone evidence. Then, I found the property tax bill for a condo across town that I didn't know we owned, or rather, Tim owns, his name only. He bought it a year ago. Guess where Tenori goes when I work late? Not Viola's house, like she says, but a whole separate place my husband bought without me knowing. And then it all clicked. For months, I've been killing myself at the diner for a few extra bucks, money he didn't even need. I thought he made me get that second job 'cause we were broke, but now I see it was a way to keep me busy, out of the house, too tired to ask questions. If I'm gone every night, then Viola gets to do bedtime, make pancakes, play mommy. That second job wasn't about dance classes, it was about getting me out of the way. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, just taking pictures of everything, putting it back, and sitting on the porch until it was time to pick up Tenori from school. When she ran out, happy to see me instead of Zoltan, he usually picks her up on Wednesdays, I made up my mind, no more diner shifts when she's awake, no more missing bedtime and school stuff, no more letting this other woman take my place. That night, I called the diner and changed my schedule, early morning shifts before Tenori wakes up, and just 2 weekend nights when she's with friends. Less money. But I'd rather eat ramen than miss another second of my daughter's life. Zoltan was surprised when I told him about the schedule change, asked if I was quitting the second job. I just smiled and said I wanted more time with Tenori. He looked uneasy, said we still needed the money. I shrugged and said I'd make it work. The next day, I took Tenori for ice cream after school. Just us. She seemed shy at first, which broke my heart. When did my own daughter become a stranger? But by the time we finished our Sundays, she was talking nonstop about her friends. I asked her if she still wanted to take dance classes. Her face lit up, and I knew everything. So, I drove straight to the dance studio and signed her up, paid for 3 months with my own money from diner tips. When I told Tenori, she started jumping up and down in the parking lot, asked when she could tell Viola. I kept my voice calm and said Viola didn't need to know everything. This could be our thing, just mom and Tenori. That weekend was Tenori's first class. I got her a leotard and ballet slippers. Zoltan was quiet when we came home with her stuff, asked where the money came from. I said I'd been saving for something special for Tenori. He didn't push it, but he wasn't happy. Over the next couple weeks, I kept digging, found Viola's Instagram, private, but her profile picture showed it was her. Found her LinkedIn. She works at the same company as Zoltan, shocker, found the condo registration, bought 2 months after he said we needed to cut back. Every discovery made me angrier but more determined. I started making copies of important papers, set up my own bank account at a different bank, and put my diner tips in it, asked my mom to hold on to copies of the evidence, told her Zoltan and I were having issues but didn't say too much. Didn't want to worry her yet. Last Tuesday, I met with a lawyer, showed her everything, the secret accounts, the condo, the trips, all of it. She listened without judging, taking notes. When I finished, she asked what I wanted. I realized I hadn't even said it out loud, even to myself. What did I want? I want my daughter back, all of her. I want money that doesn't rely on a man who's been lying to me for years. I want to never feel like I'm crazy for questioning stuff that doesn't make sense. I want Viola out of my family's life. I want Zoltan to pay for what he's done. The lawyer nodded and said we had options. With the money stuff and his thing with Viola, I could get a good divorce deal. She said to keep getting evidence but be careful not to show my hand too soon. Meanwhile, things with Tenori are getting better every day. She loves dance class, asks me to practice with her, and yesterday she called me mommy again for the first time in months. I had to go to the bathroom so she wouldn't see me crying. Zoltan's been acting nervous, checking his phone, coming home late. Yesterday, I heard him on the phone in the yard, talking in a quiet voice, saying stuff about suspicious and asking questions and need more time. I acted like I didn't hear. Last night, things blew up when I wasn't expecting it. Zoltan came home upset, paced around the kitchen while I made dinner, checked his watch, finally asked when I was gonna stop this dance class crap cause it was a waste of money. I kept chopping veggies, didn't look up, and said Tenori loved it and I already paid for 3 months. He slammed his hand on the counter, making the dishes jump, and demanded to know where I got the money. I finally looked up, knife in hand, and told him I'd been saving my tips, that money I made was mine to spend, especially on our daughter. He looked weird, like he didn't know if he should be angry or scared. He ended up storming out, slamming the door. Tenori heard the noise and asked where Daddy went. I hugged her and said he needed some air. We had a girls' night, pizza, nail painting, and practicing her dance moves. He didn't come home until after midnight. I pretended to be asleep. This morning, I got a text from Zoltan's mom asking if we were coming to their anniversary party next weekend. Said they were excited to see us and his dad was excited to meet Zoltan's friend Viola, who would be there too. Let that sink in. His parents' party where he's invited Viola. His parents who know about her but think she's just a friend. I texted back that we'd be there and how nice it would be to meet Viola myself. Screenshot saved. Of course. Then I called my lawyer cause I think I just found the perfect time to show everything I know. A family thing where Zoltan can't make a scene, where his parents will see it, where Viola will be there, and where I can finally stop pretending I don't know what's going on. The lawyer thought it was risky but could work. Said to bring printed copies of important money paper stuff he can't deny or explain away. So, that's where we're at, 1 week until the party. I'm scared but also calm. I've started putting together what my mom would call a year folder, copies of bank statements, property records, photos, everything organized, proof he can't deny or explain. I'm done being the tired waitress. Working double shifts while my husband lives a secret life with another woman. I'm done being lied to about money. I'm done watching another woman try to be Tenori's mom. Second update. Okay, so things have been absolutely insane lately. I'm writing this from my mom's guest room at 2 a.m. Cause I can't sleep. This week's been a total roller coaster. So, the anniversary party's tomorrow, and I've been getting ready on all fronts, but something happened yesterday that I didn't see coming, and it's kinda thrown me for a loop. Let me back up and tell you everything since I last posted. The day after I found out Zoltan was planning on bringing Viola to his parents' party, I decided to take a chance. I called his mom directly, which I never do cause Zoltan usually handles family stuff. I casually mentioned I was looking forward to finally meeting Viola at the party and asked what she knew about her. There was this weird pause, and then his mom said something that confirmed everything. She said Zoltan told her that Viola was helping out with Tenori since I was so busy with my second job, that I was having trouble balancing being a mom and working, and Viola was just being a friend. His mom actually felt bad for Viola, this woman who's been sleeping with my husband and playing mommy to my kid. She mentioned Zoltan brought Viola over for dinner last month when I was working late, at the diner, supposedly to help our family's money issues. I just agreed and ended the call before I said something I'd regret. Then I sat in my car in the Target parking lot and screamed into my jacket for like 5 minutes. After that, I called my own mom for help. I haven't been telling her how bad things really are cause she lives 3 hours away, and I didn't want her to worry, but I needed backup. So, I finally told her everything. Mom was furious, not just at Zoltan but at me for not telling her sooner. We had this big fight where she wanted to come up right away, and I said I needed to handle it myself. We settled on her coming up the day after the party to help with Tenori while I dealt with everything. With that settled, I focused on 3 things: getting closer to Tenori, making sure my evidence was ready, and getting myself mentally prepared. With Tenori, I've been all about dance class. I even joined that parent class, and I'm terrible at it. I'm seriously uncoordinated. But Tenori thinks it's hilarious. She's been teaching me the moves, all serious and professional like a tiny dance teacher. It's become our thing. Wednesday afternoon, I picked her up early from school and took her for ice cream. While we were eating, she asked me something that broke my heart again. She wanted to know if I was mad at her for liking Viola. I had to take a deep breath before answering, told her I could never be mad at her for caring about someone, and that the grown-up stuff between me, Daddy, and Viola wasn't her fault. She seemed relieved but then asked if Viola was gonna live with them at the other house all the time now. I asked her what she meant by the other house. She said it like it was normal, that Daddy and Viola have a house where she sometimes stays, and it has a pink room just for her with toys that don't fit in our house. She even has her own toothbrush with unicorns there. So, there it was. The condo I found is basically Viola's place, where they've been playing house with my daughter. They've made a whole other life, with a bedroom for Tenori. I managed to stay calm, asked a few more questions like I was just curious, not having my world turned upside down again, and found out the other house has a pool and Viola makes good Mickey Mouse pancakes. That night, after Tenori was asleep, I laid out all the evidence I had: bank statements, property records, photos, texts. I made what my lawyer called a divorce package, with everything organized in a folder with copies saved online and in person. One set with my mom, one in my email, one in a new Google Drive account Zoltan doesn't know about. Then I did something I hadn't planned. I drove by the condo I found in Zoltan's papers. I didn't plan on going in or anything, I just needed to see it. It was in one of those fancy new places downtown, the kind with shops and apartments, the kind that costs more a month than our mortgage. The next day, Zoltan started acting weird. He came home early, which never happens, and asked about my schedule, about who was watching Tenori, about if my mom was coming to visit. He even picked up my phone from the counter and asked if I'd changed my passcode. I hadn't. I'd been careful not to change anything. I told him no, he must be thinking of something else. He tried again and got in, looked through something quickly, then put it down like it was nothing. That night, he said we should talk about our relationship. This is from a guy who's avoided serious talks our whole marriage. He said things have been hard lately, but we could work through it, and maybe I should quit the diner job since it was stressing everyone out. I just agreed and said I'd think about it. Inside, I was freaking out. He knew something was up. Maybe Viola saw me outside the condo, maybe his mom said something about our call, maybe he saw the money papers I copied. Friday morning, yesterday, I woke up and Zoltan was already gone, which was weird. He didn't look like he'd slept in his bed. Tenori said he left before she woke up too. I dropped Tenori at school and met with my lawyer one last time before the party. We went through the evidence, talked about how to deal with him, and what to expect. She warned me he might try to lie, get angry, or even turn his family against me, but with the proof I had, it would be hard for him to deny everything. When I got home, there was a vase of flowers on the counter, roses with a card that said, "I love our family." In 8 years, Zoltan sent me flowers twice, once when we were dating, and once after Tenori was born. These weren't sorry flowers, these were, I know you know flowers. I put them in the guest bathroom and went on with my day. By the time I picked up Tenori, I had 17 missed calls from Zoltan. I texted him that my phone was on silent and was everything okay? He called right away, asking where I was, where Tanori was, sounding panicked. I told him we were going to the mall to find an outfit for Tanori for the party. He calmed down, said he'd be home for dinner, and asked if we could have a family night. I said okay. He showed up with pizza and ice cream, Tanori's favorites, and spent the night being super dad, playing games, helping with homework, and offering to do bath time. It was like he was auditioning for Father of the Year. After Tanori went to bed, he sat down next to me on the couch, closer than he's been in months, and started saying we should take a family trip soon, just us. How he's been thinking about our future, and how Tanori needs both her parents. I just watched him act like a good husband, wondering if he thought I was buying it. He even reached for my hand, and I let him cause it was easier than pulling away. His hand was sweaty. He asked if I was still going to his parents' party tomorrow. I said of course, why wouldn't I be? He looked relieved. Then he casually said Viola probably wouldn't make it. Something about a family emergency. I just said that was too bad. I'd been looking forward to meeting her. This morning, I woke up and Zoltan was watching me sleep, not in a good way, but in a nervous way. When I opened my eyes, he pretended he was just getting up, asked if I wanted breakfast, if we should take Tanori to the park before going to his parents' house later. I smiled and said sure. That sounded nice. Then I went to shower, and when I came out, I caught him looking through my phone again. He didn't see me watching from the hallway. I cleared my throat, and he jumped and dropped my phone on the couch. That's when I decided I needed a plan B. After breakfast, I told Zoltan I needed to get a gift for his parents. Instead, I drove to my mom's house, told her everything that's happened, and asked if she could come back with me now instead of tomorrow. Mom didn't even hesitate, packed a bag in 10 minutes, and we drove back together. When we pulled into the driveway, Zoltan was standing on the porch, looking like he'd seen a ghost. When he saw my mom, the next few hours were this weird thing where Zoltan tried to be nice to my mom while giving me confused, panicked looks when she wasn't watching, mom being polite but cold, me pretending everything was normal while getting ready for tomorrow. I told Zoltan I was staying at mom's tonight cause she wanted help getting ready for a brunch next week. He tried to argue, but he couldn't really say anything with my mom there. So here I am, at my mom's house with my evidence folder and a change of clothes for tomorrow's party. The party starts at 3 tomorrow afternoon. Zoltan thinks I'm meeting him there. His parents are expecting us and Tanori. My lawyer's on call, and Viola I have a feeling she'll be there, even though Zoltan said she had a family thing. Either way, I'm ready. The photos will show what's been going on. I know doing this at his parents' party might seem harsh, but after months of lying, and watching him try to take my place as Tanori's mom, I'm done protecting his feelings or what people think of him. His parents need to know who their son really is, and I deserve to get my life back on my own terms. Final update. Okay, so it's been 3 weeks since the party at Zoltan's parents' place. I've tried to write this a bunch of times, but the words just wouldn't come out right. It's been a lot to deal with, but I owe it to everyone who's been so kind in their messages. Thank you. Really. I've read them all, even if I haven't been able to reply. That day didn't go like I thought it would. Mom and I got there with Tanori right after 3 o'clock. Zoltan was already outside, pacing by the driveway. He looked rough, unshaven, wrinkled shirt, and fidgety like he couldn't stand still. As soon as I opened the car door, he was on me, saying we needed to talk alone right then. I didn't want Tanori to see us fighting, so I said I'd go see his parents first and kept walking. He followed, mumbling something I couldn't hear. Inside, the house was warm and familiar, with pictures of his parents 40 years together on every wall. There were maybe 15 or 20 people chatting. His mom came over fast, hugged Tanori, told her dress was pretty, then turned to me. She said she was glad I made it cause Zoltan told her I might be stuck at work. It stung knowing he'd been making up excuses about me. I told her I'd changed my schedule weeks ago to be there. She hesitated, like she didn't know what to say, then smiled and moved on. I had the folder with me, the one I'd spent days putting together, with all the bank statements, photos, and property papers. When people started sitting down for lunch, I gave it to his mom. I said it was something she should see about our family. She opened it and started looking through the transfers to the secret account, the pictures of Zoltan and Viola with Tanori, the condo papers. Her face changed, like she couldn't believe it. Zoltan reached for it, saying it wasn't what it looked like, but his dad stepped in, took the folder, and started reading too. He didn't say anything, just kept going page by page. Zoltan tried to explain, said I'd misunderstood, that the money was for something else, that the photos were old. It sounded weak. His dad looked up and asked if it was all true. Zoltan said our marriage was tough. But it didn't work. His mom asked why I hadn't told them sooner. I said I'd only found out everything recently myself. She nodded, but I could tell she was confused, like she didn't know what to do with it. Then Viola walked in. It was maybe half an hour later. I heard the doorbell, and there she was, holding a gift bag, smiling like she belonged. Zoltan went pale, rushed over, and started whispering to her, trying to get her to leave. She saw me, hesitated, but didn't say anything to me. His sister got to her first, asked if she knew Zoltan was married. Viola said yes, but he told her we were separated, just staying together for Tenori until things were settled. His sister showed her a photo from the folder, us at Christmas, all three of us, and asked how separated that looked. Viola didn't say anything. She left with Zoltan following her, saying he'd explain. Tenori was outside the whole time, thankfully, playing with my mom and some cousins in the backyard, away from everything. His dad came over to me, asked if what I brought was real. I said it was. He nodded, said he was sorry, and that was it. His mom kept walking around, but I saw her looking at me, like she wanted to say something. She finally asked if we could talk later, but I said I needed to get Tenori home. I thanked them for having us, apologized for how it turned out, and we left. His dad shook my hand, his mom gave me a quick hug. That night, Zoltan called a bunch of times. I didn't answer. The next day, I went to my lawyer and started the divorce papers. It's not done yet, not even close. We filed for temporary custody of Tenori, but Zoltan's fighting it, saying I'm trying to cut him out of her life. He moved out a few days later, came by when I was at the diner and took his clothes and stuff from the garage. I think he's at the condo, but I haven't asked. Tenori's been the hardest part. She keeps asking where daddy is and why he doesn't come home. I tell her we're living apart now, but we both love her. Some days she's okay with it, other days she's not. Last weekend, she cried herself to sleep, saying she misses him and Viola, and asked if they're mad at her. I held her, told her it's not her fault, but it broke me. She still talks about things from Viola's house, the pool and the toys, and I don't know how to deal with that yet. I cut my diner shifts back to just early mornings so I can be with Tenori after school. Money's tight. Zoltan's supposed to pay support, but nothing's set until the court decides, and that's taking forever. I'm making it work with my regular job and what's left of my savings. Tenori's still in dance classes. She loves them too much to stop. And seeing her smile there keeps me going. Zoltan's shown up at the diner twice since that night. The first time, he stood by the counter, looking like he hadn't slept, asking if we could talk. I said I was working and kept moving. My boss told him to leave when he wouldn't. The second time, he waited outside until I got off work, said he'd made a mistake and wanted to fix things. I told him I couldn't do this anymore and walked away. He's texted a few times, saying he misses us, but I haven't replied. His parents called last Sunday. His mom asked how Tenori was, said they didn't realize how bad things were. She sounded sad, maybe guilty, but didn't say much else. I told her I don't blame them, but I need time before we talk more. I don't know what they're saying to Zoltan now. I'm trying to figure out what's next. Some days I feel okay, making dinner with Tenori, practicing her dance moves. Other days it hits me hard. I'll sit in the car after dropping her at school and cry, wondering how we got here. The divorce is going to take months, and I still don't know what'll happen with that money he hid. It's not over, but at least I'm not pretending. A few days ago, my lawyer found out where the money was coming from. Zoltan's been taking side jobs through work, extra stuff he never told me about, and putting the money into that second account. That's how he paid for the condo, the trips, everything, while I was saving my tips to buy ballet shoes. He was living a whole other life with money I didn't even know existed. After everything that's happened, if I could share one thing, it's this: trust your gut. Seriously. If something feels off, don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're crazy. I ignored those little red flags for way too long because I wanted to believe in Zoltan, because I thought I was being dramatic, because it was easier than facing the truth. It almost cost me everything: my daughter, my sanity, my whole life as I knew it. So, listen to that little voice inside. Do your homework. And don't be afraid to fight for yourself and your kids. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you're not enough. Because you are. You're strong, you're capable, and you deserve to be happy. Now, I'm curious. What are your thoughts? What did you take away from my story? Was there a moment that particularly resonated with you? I'm open to hearing your opinions and experiences.